Imagine this, you're sitting across from her at a coffee shop. She's laughing at your jokes, playing with her hair, and locking eyes with you in a way that makes your heart race. 2 hours have passed, and then she says something that freezes your brain. "We're definitely not having sex tonight." Most men would panic. They'd assume the night is over, that they misread all the signals. But here's the twist, she just gave you the biggest green light in the female communication playbook. You see, women don't communicate sexual interest like men do. They rarely say exactly what they mean. Instead, they speak in opposites, disguise desire as casual conversation, and drop signals that most men completely miss. Words like trouble, innocent, or even it's getting late can actually mean one thing: I want you, but I'm keeping it subtle. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down the 9 verbal lust signals women give when they want to sleep with you. These are signals that 90% of men misinterpret, often leaving them confused, frustrated, and missing opportunities that were right in front of them. By the end of this video, you'll know how to read these signals, understand the psychology behind them, and respond in a way that escalates attraction naturally, without pressure or awkwardness. If you've ever wondered whether a woman is really interested or just being friendly, this video will give you the answer, every single time. Signal number 1, you're trouble. When a woman says, "you're trouble," it's one of the most misunderstood signals in the dating world. Most men hear it and think she's warning them away, that they're too risky or that they should play it safe. But in reality, this phrase often indicates the exact opposite. She's not trying to push you away. She's hinting at excitement, sexual tension, and curiosity about what it would be like to break her usual rules with you. Here's the psychology behind it. Women live in a social environment where being too forward with desire can carry risks. If she were to openly say, "I want you," it could affect her image or make her feel vulnerable. So instead, she uses phrases like, "you're trouble," to communicate that she sees potential for excitement, risk, and sexual chemistry, without explicitly stating it. It's a way to test you, to see if you can recognize her interest and respond confidently. Physical cues often accompany this phrase: a playful smirk, a raised eyebrow, a tilt of the head, or even a slight laugh that hides nervous excitement. She may lean closer to you, touch her hair, or subtly mirror your movements. These subconscious actions reinforce the verbal signal, showing that she's intrigued and mentally playing with the idea of stepping outside her comfort zone. So, how should you respond? Most men try to reassure her. They say things like, "No, I'm not trouble," or "I'm actually very safe." This is the exact wrong approach. Responding with reassurance diffuses the tension and diminishes the sexual spark. Instead, lean into the energy. Embrace the idea of being trouble in a playful, confident way. Phrases like, "the best kind of trouble," "you have no idea," "I can be a little trouble if you're up for it," work perfectly. These responses acknowledge her signal, escalate the flirtation, and keep the tension alive. Real-life examples. Imagine you're at a bar, joking and teasing, and she laughs, glances at you with a nervous smile and says, "You're trouble. You know that?" Instead of apologizing or explaining yourself, you lean slightly closer, smile knowingly, and say, "Trouble's kind of my specialty." You've now matched her energy, shown confidence, and reinforced sexual tension. Mistakes men make. Trying to convince her they're safe, over-explaining themselves, ignoring the signal altogether. The "you're trouble" signal is an invitation disguised as a warning. Recognize it, respond confidently, and you immediately move into a higher level of sexual tension and attraction. Understanding this signal separates men who get it from those who miss the opportunity entirely. Signal number 2, you smell good. When a woman comments on how you smell, it might seem like a simple compliment, but in reality, it's a powerful sexual signal. Scent is one of the most primal triggers of attraction. A woman noticing your natural scent means her subconscious mind is responding to your pheromones, signaling biological compatibility and sexual chemistry. This isn't about your cologne or the brand of deodorant you're wearing. While grooming matters, what she's reacting to is the subtle, subconscious chemical communication that occurs between bodies. When she says, "You smell really good," she's effectively telling you that she's already imagining what it would feel like to be physically close to you, breathing your scent, being near your body, and sharing intimate moments. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Women often pick up on subtle olfactory cues that signal health, fertility, and compatibility. When she comments on your scent, it's her body giving away a preference she might not even consciously acknowledge. Most men underestimate this because they think compliments are casual or harmless, but in reality, scent is an early sexual signal, often stronger than verbal flirtation. Physical cues usually accompany this signal. She may lean slightly closer to you, unconsciously move nearer, touch her hair or neck, or make prolonged eye contact while making the comment. These gestures reinforce that she's already evaluating closeness, intimacy, and chemistry. How should you respond? The key is subtle acknowledgement and confident escalation, not overthinking. Avoid responding in a way that kills the energy or makes it awkward. Examples include, "Glad you noticed." "I'm glad it caught your attention." "You like it?" "I was hoping you would." These responses acknowledge her interest while keeping the flirtation alive and playful. You can also use body language to reinforce the message. Lean slightly closer, maintain eye contact, and let your presence fill the space naturally. Real-life example. You're at a party chatting closely, and she leans in, brushing a strand of hair from her face, and says, "You smell amazing." Instead of thanking her in a casual way, you respond with a subtle grin and say, "I thought you'd like it," while slightly narrowing the distance between you. She now has confirmation that you recognize her attraction and are comfortable with it. Common mistakes men make: ignoring the comment as small talk, over-explaining or bragging about cologne, reacting awkwardly or nervously. When a woman compliments your scent, it's a signal that sexual interest is already present. Recognizing it, responding confidently, and subtly escalating physical proximity can deepen attraction and move the interaction toward intimacy naturally. Signal number 3, I don't usually do this. When a woman says, "I don't usually do this," it's one of the clearest indicators that she's breaking her usual rules because of attraction to you. On the surface, it may sound like a disclaimer, a way to maintain her image as someone who doesn't act impulsively. But beneath the words lies a powerful message. She's already decided she wants to explore desire with you. The psychology here is subtle yet compelling. Women often feel social pressure to appear selective, composed, and in control. By prefacing her actions with this phrase, she protects her self-image while signaling that she's willing to act outside her normal behavior because you inspire her to do so. In other words, she's saying, "You make me want to break my own rules, and that excites me." Physical cues usually accompany this phrase. A slightly nervous laugh, avoiding direct eye contact for a moment before locking eyes again, leaning forward, or touching her hair. These gestures indicate excitement, vulnerability, and anticipation. She's testing whether you'll recognize and positively respond to her boldness without judgment. How should you respond? Most men misunderstand this signal, either questioning why she's acting differently or overreacting to her words. The key is validation and playful escalation. By acknowledging that she's stepping out of her comfort zone, you reinforce her choice while encouraging her to continue. Sometimes the best experiences come from breaking your own rules. That makes this moment even more exciting. I like that you're spontaneous. It keeps things interesting. Notice the subtlety. These responses don't pressure her or comment on sexual intent directly. They simply affirm her decision to act differently because of you. At the same time, your body language should mirror the escalation. Maintain eye contact, lean slightly closer, smile knowingly, and subtly increase the intimacy of your gestures. Real-life example. You're out on a dinner date and she suggests trying a cocktail she normally avoids, saying, "I don't usually drink this, but it seemed fun." Instead of brushing it off, you respond, "Exactly the kind of adventure I was hoping we'd have tonight," with a grin, letting her feel that her decision is exciting and appreciated. This simple acknowledgement turns a casual statement into a flirtatious bridge toward intimacy. Common mistakes men make: ignoring her statement entirely, questioning her or asking why she's acting differently, overly praising or overanalyzing her behavior. Understanding this signal is crucial. It's a green light disguised as a warning, and recognizing it allows you to escalate attraction naturally, respecting her boundaries while affirming her desire. When you respond correctly, she feels seen, safe, and excited, ready to explore intimacy with confidence. Signal number 4. It's getting late, but I'm having fun. When a woman says, "It's getting late, but I'm having fun," Most men hear the first part and think the night is over. They assume she's about to leave and start mentally preparing their exit. But if you listen carefully, you'll notice that the second part flips the meaning entirely. She's leaving the door open for you to continue the evening. This statement is a perfect example of how women communicate opposites to signal interest. On the surface, mentioning the time provides a socially acceptable reason to end the interaction. But by immediately adding that she's having fun, she's subtly telling you that she wants to keep the chemistry alive. She's just waiting for you to take the next step. The psychology behind this is strategic. Women often avoid directly stating, "I want to spend more time with you," or "I want this night to continue." Doing so could make them feel vulnerable or create social pressure. By phrasing it as a casual observation, they maintain plausible deniability while giving you the opportunity to escalate. Physical cues often accompany this statement. She might maintain eye contact a fraction longer than usual, lean slightly forward, or smile while mentioning the time. She may also brush her hair back, laugh nervously, or shift her body closer to you. These signals reinforce her true intent. She's enjoying the moment and wants it to continue. So, how should you respond? Most men either ignore this, nod politely and let the night end, or they awkwardly ask if she's ready to leave. Both responses miss the signal entirely. The correct approach is playful escalation, giving her a reason to stay and increasing intimacy naturally. Who says the night has to end? I know a place that's even more fun. Want to go? The night's just getting started if you're up for it. These responses acknowledge her signal while giving her the freedom to continue without pressure. Physical escalation, like leaning in slightly, offering your arm, or guiding her gently to the next location, reinforces your confidence and leadership. Real-life example. You're at a lounge laughing and chatting when she glances at her watch and says, "It's getting late, but I'm having fun." Instead of saying, "Yeah, we should probably leave," you respond, "Why don't we grab a nightcap somewhere nearby? I don't want this fun to end." She immediately senses your confidence and willingness to continue the experience, and the chemistry escalates naturally. Common mistakes men make: interpreting the time comment literally, hesitating or overthinking next steps, ending the night prematurely. Understanding this signal is crucial because it's a green light disguised as logistics. Recognizing it, responding confidently, and escalating subtly can transform an ordinary evening into an intimate, memorable experience. Women give this signal when they're interested. They just want you to take the lead. Signal number 5, where do you live? When a woman asks, "Where do you live?" she's rarely asking out of simple curiosity about your address or commute. In the context of attraction, this is a subtle but powerful sexual signal. She's mentally calculating logistics, imagining scenarios where she could spend more time with you in private spaces, and testing whether intimacy is feasible without directly stating it. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Women often operate under social constraints that prevent them from openly expressing desire. Asking about your living situation allows her to gauge how easily the night or future encounters could escalate sexually. By framing it as casual conversation, she maintains plausible deniability while sending a very clear message. She's interested and thinking about what could happen. Physical cues often accompany this question. She may lean slightly forward, smile nervously, or glance at your reaction as she asks. Subtle touches, like playing with her hair, brushing her neck, or adjusting her posture, can signal excitement and anticipation. She's essentially opening a door and waiting for you to recognize the opportunity. So, how should you respond? Most men take this question literally and give a straightforward answer, missing the subtext entirely. The key is to acknowledge the signal while keeping the interaction playful and confident. Examples of appropriate responses include: close enough to make this interesting. Very convenient, I'd say. Not far at all, depends on how the night goes. These responses communicate that you recognize her interest without being overtly crude or aggressive. At the same time, your body language should reinforce subtle escalation. Maintain eye contact, lean slightly closer, and mirror her gestures to show rapport and shared excitement. Real-life example: you're out for drinks, laughing and flirting, and she casually asks, "Where do you live?" Instead of simply saying downtown, you respond with a grin, close enough for a spontaneous adventure if you're up for it. She immediately senses your understanding of her signal, feels validated, and is more open to intimacy or continued time together. Common mistakes men make: answering mechanically, missing the sexual subtext, acting nervous or defensive, over-explaining logistics rather than keeping it playful. Understanding this signal is critical because it's all about logistics disguised as casual conversation. She's giving you a window into her thinking, testing whether you're socially intelligent enough to read the subtext. Recognizing it and responding confidently sets the stage for escalation while respecting her boundaries and social comfort. This question is not just curiosity, it's a direct invitation to view her as a sexual being in private, separate from the public persona she presents. Responding appropriately demonstrates confidence, awareness, and leadership, qualities that naturally attract women and make escalation smooth and exciting. Signal number 6, do I seem innocent to you? When a woman asks, do I seem innocent to you? She's not simply fishing for a compliment. This is a subtle but highly revealing sexual signal. On the surface, it may sound playful or teasing, but beneath the words, she's inviting you to see her hidden, passionate, or sexual side, the side she doesn't show to just anyone. The psychology behind this is rooted in social and sexual dynamics. Women often maintain a good girl or composed image in public, but in private, they may have a more adventurous, sensual personality. By asking this question, she's testing whether you can perceive and appreciate that duality without judgment. It's a way of saying, there's more to me than what meets the eye, and I want you to notice it. Physical cues typically accompany this statement. She may give a sly smile, tilt her head, maintain direct eye contact, or even lean slightly forward. Small gestures like twirling a strand of hair, brushing her neck, or softly laughing while asking the question all indicate excitement, anticipation, and vulnerability. She's revealing herself to you in a subtle but meaningful way, gauging your reaction to determine if she can trust you with her less visible, sexual persona. So, how should you respond? Many men fall into the trap of giving a generic compliment like, "Of course you're innocent," which fails to acknowledge the underlying meaning. The best approach is to validate her complexity while keeping the interaction playful and flirtatious. Examples include, "There's definitely more to you than meets the eye. I had a feeling you were full of surprises." Innocent? I'd say intriguingly complex. Notice that these responses don't pressure her or make the conversation explicitly sexual. Instead, they recognize her duality, showing that you're socially intelligent, confident, and attentive to subtext. Your body language should match the flirtation. Maintain eye contact, lean slightly closer, and mirror her playful gestures to reinforce rapport. Real-life example. You're chatting in a lounge and she smirks and asks, "Do I seem innocent to you?" Instead of overanalyzing or giving a standard answer, you lean in slightly and respond, "Innocent." I'd say intriguingly complex, and I like discovering each layer. She immediately senses that you understand her subtext, validating her invitation to reveal a more adventurous side, and the sexual tension escalates naturally. Common mistakes men make: responding too literally or awkwardly, ignoring the question's subtext, overpraising or overanalyzing her behavior. Understanding this signal is key because it's an invitation to see her sexual complexity. Recognizing it and responding appropriately shows confidence, insight, and sexual awareness, qualities that naturally increase attraction and intimacy. When handled correctly, this signal strengthens the connection, making her feel seen, understood, and ready for deeper interaction. Signal number 7, you're different. When a woman tells you you're different, it's more than a casual compliment. It's a direct signal of elevated interest and sexual attraction. Unlike generic praise, this statement indicates that you stand out in her mind compared to other men she has met. She's experiencing an emotional or physical response that feels unique, and she wants you to recognize it. The psychology behind this signal is powerful. Women often interact with many men who blend together, safe, predictable, or unremarkable. When you trigger something unusual in her, whether it's confidence, humor, charm, or sexual energy, she perceives you as different. By verbalizing it, she's acknowledging the unique impression you've made, and this often comes hand in hand with sexual intrigue. Essentially, she's saying, "There's something about you I haven't felt with anyone else." Physical cues often reinforce this statement. She may smile subtly, tilt her head, maintain longer eye contact, or lightly touch her lips or hair while speaking. These small gestures indicate fascination and anticipation. She's likely observing your reactions to see if you notice her interest and whether you can respond in a way that validates it without overcomplicating things. So, how should you respond? The key is to acknowledge the distinction confidently without overanalyzing it. Most men make the mistake of downplaying the comment or asking her to explain why, which kills the sexual energy. Instead, responses that validate her statement while maintaining attraction include, "Different can be a good thing. I like that I stand out to you. I'd say the feeling is mutual." These responses confirm her observation, maintain flirtation, and subtly invite deeper intimacy. Your body language should align with your words. Maintain confident eye contact, lean slightly closer, and allow micro-expressions like smiles or knowing nods to reinforce connection. Real-life example: you've spent the evening laughing, teasing, and sharing stories. She looks at you with a spark in her eyes and says, "You're different." Instead of brushing it off, you respond with a confident grin. "I'd say the feeling's mutual." Not everyone can keep up with this kind of fun. By validating her observation playfully, you escalate both emotional and sexual tension naturally. Common mistakes men make: asking, "How am I different?" or overanalyzing her comment, ignoring the compliment entirely, responding too casually or without energy. Recognizing this signal is crucial because it's a clear marker of elevated interest. She's highlighting that your presence and energy stand out to her, and she's hoping you respond in kind. Responding confidently, playfully, and with subtle escalation strengthens attraction, builds sexual tension, and opens the door for more intimate interaction. Signal number 8, so what now? When a woman asks, "So, what now?" Thought it might seem like a casual question, but in reality it's one of the most direct yet subtle sexual signals she can give. This statement indicates that she's feeling strong attraction and sexual tension, but she wants you to take the lead in escalating the interaction. She's essentially handing you the steering wheel while maintaining plausible deniability about her intentions. The psychology behind this phrase is fascinating. Women often avoid directly initiating sexual escalation because social norms encourage them to be selective and cautious. Asking, "So, what now?" allows her to communicate desire and openness to intimacy without taking responsibility for the next move. It's a test of your social intelligence and confidence. She's checking if you can recognize the subtext and respond appropriately. Physical cues typically accompany this phrase. She may maintain intense eye contact, bite her lips subtly, lean forward, or touch her hair or neck nervously. These gestures indicate anticipation, arousal, and excitement. She's signaling that she's curious, ready, and willing, but she's also observing your response to see if you can confidently escalate without hesitation. How should you respond? Most men misread this as a literal question about plans, asking, "Do you want to go grab coffee?" or freezing with uncertainty. The correct approach is calibrated, confident escalation. You acknowledge the tension, demonstrate leadership, and offer a path forward that aligns with the chemistry. Examples include, "I have a few ideas, want to find out? Let's go somewhere more private and see where this goes." "Depends, do you want the night to get a little more interesting?" Notice the nuance. These responses are flirtatious, confident, and playful. They give her the option to continue without pressure, allowing sexual tension to build naturally. Your body language should reinforce the subtext, maintain eye contact, move slightly closer, and mirror her gestures to create intimacy. Real-life example: you've spent the evening laughing, sharing stories, and teasing each other. She looks at you with a spark in her eyes and asks, "So, what now?" Instead of asking her to clarify, you respond with a knowing smile. "I have some ideas, curious if you're brave enough to follow." By doing this, you've acknowledged her attraction, taken the lead, and increased sexual tension naturally. Common mistakes men make: treating it literally as a plan for dinner or drinks, hesitating or overthinking the subtext, responding passively instead of escalating. Understanding this signal is crucial because it's a direct invitation masked as casual curiosity. Recognizing it, responding confidently, and escalating appropriately demonstrates leadership, sexual intelligence, and social awareness. qualities that naturally increase attraction and set the stage for intimacy. Women give this signal when they're ready. They just want you to make the first move. Signal number 9. We're definitely not having sex tonight. When a woman says, "We're definitely not having sex tonight," most men panic. They think the evening is over, that all chances for intimacy are gone. But in reality, this phrase is one of the most counterintuitive and revealing sexual signals a woman can give. It often appears when sexual tension is at its peak, and her subconscious mind is actively processing desire. The psychology behind this statement is fascinating. Women operate in a social environment where being too forward with sexual interest can carry reputation risks. By verbally stating that sex isn't happening, she is creating a protective disclaimer for herself, for you, and for the social norms she navigates. Yet paradoxically, mentioning sex explicitly signals that it has already been on her mind. She's acknowledging the tension rather than suppressing it, which can actually increase attraction and anticipation. Physical cues often accompany this phrase. She may look slightly nervous, bite her lip, glance away briefly before locking eyes again, or play with her hair. These subtle gestures indicate excitement and anticipation. She's simultaneously testing your reaction and managing her own expectations. How should you respond? The key is calm acknowledgement without argument or pressure. Most men respond with panic, defensiveness, or awkward humor, all of which kill the sexual tension. The correct approach is reassuring, confident, and subtle, maintaining proximity and chemistry. Of course not. I wouldn't assume otherwise. No pressure. Let's just enjoy the night. These responses remove anxiety and allow sexual tension to continue building naturally. Your body language should reinforce comfort and confidence. Maintain eye contact, lean slightly closer, and mirror her gestures to demonstrate attentiveness and ease. Real-life example. You're sitting together at a bar, laughing and teasing when she casually says, "We're definitely not having sex tonight." Instead of reacting nervously, you smile subtly, lean closer, and say, "Of course not. I wasn't assuming anything, just enjoying our time." By doing this, you acknowledge her words without reducing sexual tension, allowing chemistry to escalate organically. Common mistakes men make: reacting defensively or apologetically, overanalyzing or arguing the point, ending the night prematurely out of fear. Understanding this signal is crucial because it's a green light disguised as a boundary. Recognizing it allows you to maintain attraction, escalate intimacy subtly, and demonstrate social and sexual intelligence. Women who give this signal are already considering crossing boundaries, but they need confidence, reassurance, and leadership from you to act on it comfortably. And there you have it, the 9 powerful signals women give when they're sexually interested. Signals that 90% of men completely miss. The truth is, women aren't confusing. They're strategically communicating in a language most men never learn. By understanding these signals and responding confidently, you step into a whole new level of attraction, social intelligence, and intimacy. Remember, it's not about manipulation or tricks. It's about reading the room, recognizing cues, and escalating appropriately while respecting her comfort and boundaries. Each signal is an invitation, a glimpse into desire, and an opportunity to connect on a deeper, more passionate level. Start paying attention to these phrases in your interactions. Notice how women subtly test, tease, and reveal their interest. Mastering this language doesn't just change your dating life. It transforms your confidence, your awareness, and your ability to create memorable, magnetic experiences. So next time a woman gives you one of these signals, don't hesitate, don't overthink. Recognize it, respond with confidence, and let the chemistry naturally do the rest. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more insights into attraction and psychology, and share it with someone who needs to finally decode female signals.